What's good, y'all? So I'm back with another story to tell y'all. And like I said before, I got stories for days. My family and I, my friends and I'm 34 years old, and I've experienced 90s movies, heck, 80s movies, even though they're older than me, but 90s movies, 2000s, 2010s to now. And the situations that happen in between watching those shows or movies or even playing a certain game has always stuck to me. And like how I sat there and talk about my scariest moment in movie history, I have a lot of stories and stuff like that. So I'm a commit to doing 1 to 2 story time videos. Actually, I guess you want to call it story time videos a week for now. If I change, I'll let you know, but at least 1 to 2. So thank y'all for y'all support on those as well. Those have actually done very well on my channel. To be honest, it's just me being me, sharing something of my past. I'm 34 years old. I've seen tons of movies, tons of TV shows, played a lot of different games, and I have a lot of stories in those. Because it's not just me talking about a movie or something. It's the situation that me or a family member or a friend had in that moment. Why did I say this certain movie was the scariest moment of my life, or like the greatest flash moment? Like stuff like that. The reason I call it the greatest flash moment is for that certain reason in that video. And so that's what for me always makes it interesting with these story times. It always sticks to me, these moments, because it was iconic for me. So, or a family member or whatnot. And yeah, so that's why I like sharing these. And there's another one. I went for a walk today and I was thinking about it. I was like, dang, yeah, that was, that was a hype moment that to this day I could watch this movie and get hyped for it, but it'll never capture the first time seeing it. And the funny part is, it's not even the first time I seen it. It was the first time my own parents went to see it. And it was Bad Boys 2. To this day, I've seen tons of action movies. Tons of them. None of them captures the intensity as Bad Boys 2 did. And honestly, it's all from it all comes from one scene in a movie. And I'm about to break it down for you. But before I do, I have to say, I've never in my life, as many movies as my parents have seen. My mom and dad love action movies. They love action movies. Never in my life have I seen a movie where my dad comes home, because look, I was too young to watch Bad Boys 2 in theaters. I wasn't allowed to. I had to wait 2, 3, whatever, 4 years, however long it was, for it to be on TBS or TNT, where it was edited. So it was just my parents, and then their friends. They went to go see it. But first it was my parents. Never in life have I experienced a moment where my dad comes home. I'm like, this is for real. This is what happened. I'm like, where's mom? He said she had to walk home. Why? What happened? Like, I'm thinking, I've never heard. I'm like, why? Because if you know my parents, my dad don't go anywhere. Like, if my mom is not walking alone, my dad's going to be there the whole time. They are stuck with each other. Love that. But yeah, I'm like, so it was weird for me as a kid. Wait, how long? When did Bad Boys 2 come out? Hold on. Bad Boys 2 was 2003. My birthday is December, so this came out summer 2000. I was about to say I was 13. No, I was 12, going on to 13. So okay, I was 12 years old, and I remember I lived in Detroit at the time. There was I don't know if y'all remember this, for those who know Detroit. Y'all remember the Star Theater? There was only 2 in Detroit. There was one in this like in the heart of Detroit. Then there was one in Great Lakes Mall, like 30 minutes away from the city of Detroit. But the one we knew was in the city of the heart of Detroit. And they went to the Star Theater to see Bad Boys 2. And we didn't live far from the theater, but they usually would drive there. My dad came home and was talking about, oh, she had to walk home. I was like, by herself? He was like, yeah, she left the theater. Was like, honey, I just need a minute. I need a minute. Just give me a second. I can't sit down and drive home. I'm like, what did this movie, like, wait, well, at first I didn't know it was the movie. I'm like, why is she like that? He was like, the movie, it had this crazy scene, and it's been sticking with your mom since that moment happened. I'm like, it was that good? He was like, well, that intense? He was like, yeah. And I'll never forget the face she made when she came home. She opened the door, she went, and I'm like, was the movie that good? And she's like, whoo. Whew, there's this one scene. She was like, Duran, I wish you was an adult. That's my real name. My real name is Duran, for those who don't know. Duran, I wish you was an adult, because I'll take you to go see that movie now. And my little brother was 10 or 9 going on 10. And she was like, the unfortunate part about this is that y'all too young, too much cussing in that movie. We're not gonna take y'all to see it till it gets on TV, but there's a scene, and it had my blood pumping. I had to take breaths because it was crazy hype, and I'm sitting there, and I hate that because especially then I was into movies hardcore. I love movies now, but I knew every actor, every movie, every director. Like I was that kind of movie goer, and one thing I always hated being young. When it came to being young was I wasn't allowed to see R-rated ones. And even some PG-13s if they went too far. And so when I'm seeing all this excitement, it's like all this excitement then to tell me I'm not allowed to see it. I was like, are you kidding me? I wanted to know like, and then the worst part was my parents went to go see it another time again with them. Then they went to see it a third time with some friends. Then they went to see it a fourth time with with other family members. And then I remember going to school, bro, and you hear other kids my age talking about how good the movie was. Their parents took them. So I'm sitting there, imagine for years hearing how good this movie is. You a hardcore movie person, and all I could do was watch TBS of the first Bad Boys. And just sit there and imagine how good it was. My mom was, and she wasn't like teasing or nothing like that. She was just excited. She even said it. She's like, I've never had experience like that in the movie before. And to sit there for years until it came on TV, not knowing what that scene was at all, it hurt, bro. Now, we can skip to the time I was able to watch it. A few years go by, and it finally got on TV. I think it was Fox. Not even TBS. I think it was Fox. It was on Fox. Bro, there's this one scene. I'm gonna break this down for y'all because I understood completely. To this day, I haven't found an action scene that beats that. And this scene alone makes it the greatest action movie to me because of the impact it gave me. There are some action movies where you just like, that's good. Oh, wow, that looked really good. Then there's those action movies where you like, whew, goodness gracious. And Bad Boys 2 did that. And the craziest thing about this scene is that it had basically nothing to do with the main plot of the movie. Basically had nothing to do with the main plot. But you would have thought this made the main villain look like child's play. This one scene, and if you've seen Bad Boys 2, you probably know where I'm getting at. It's this freeway scene. So long story short, Martin and Will, or Mike and Laurie, does a patrol to keep tabs on these certain Haitians, seeing what they're about to do. They're suspecting that they're up to no good and stuff like that. And lo and behold, behind the scenes, they don't know that Martin's sister, who was Gabrielle Union, is a cop in the middle of this. But she actually is not in the middle of it. She was doing another deal with another villain. She was an undercover cop working for the villain, doing this thing for the villains. And she had something else going on, not knowing that these certain Haitians were watching her. By the way, two villains doing two different things. One was doing their deal, like I said, Gabrielle Union, whatever, with these other dealers, and then the Haitians who's watching them trying to take them. All these Haitians this is all they were. They were just regular thugs. That is it. You don't know much about them. They did have this one saying, my dad does it all the time. He goes, forward. If you see the movie, you know why I did that. But my dad to this day does that. It always sticks to it, like how that little scene, forward. But and so this is happening. So while those two things are happening, Martin and Will are cops investigating the Haitians. They don't know what they're about to do. They just know that Will had a call to say that they're about to do something. So they're keeping tabs from afar away. They have no idea Gabrielle and them is having something going on. Lo and behold, when Gabrielle Union parks with her partner on the rooftop. These Haitians pull up there and start shooting, going crazy. And it starts this whole shootout drive-away scene on the rooftop. And Will and Bart like, what the heck is going on? By the way, shout out to Gabrielle Union's part. She played the heck out of that scene. You know, she was not no woman that's like, help me. No, she was tough. She got the gun out. She like closed the daggone door. She was closing the door, driving off the, bro, like that whole scene. And the thing was, you didn't see that coming. You thought something else was about to happen because the movie did a very good job not spoiling what these Haitians were actually doing. We know now they were just regular street thugs trying to steal something and would do it by any means necessary. That's all. We know that now, but when you first watch it, you had no idea why they was there. They was following this truck. That's it. You know, and when the gun started going off on that rooftop, and Will, they be like, what the heck? And Will and Martin was helpless. They could do nothing in that moment. So all this happened on the rooftop. Like I said, Gabrielle Union was working for the police. So the police who was investigating, like was helping, you know, like talking to her through the microphone, they're shot. They're like, what's happening? Because they was helping her. They was like, who are these people that are coming? Nobody knew who these thugs were. They was like, what is going on? And then the people that Gabrielle Union was helping, the bad guys, they're freaking out because they're like, who are these guys? So they're panicking, the bad guys who's watching from afar and the cops who are watching from afar helping Gabrielle Union. Those parties are panicking because they don't want whatever Gabrielle Union has. They don't want it to get stolen. Those Haitians were there to steal the product, to steal the merchandise, whatever that was. And so all that is happening on the rooftop. So Gabrielle Union is being a boss, trying to drive up, like I said, closed door driving all the way down. This one Haitian jumped on the truck and she kicked the door and it hit the wall and it made the guy fall all the way down to Will near his car. And then when Gabrielle's car drives by Will and Martin's car, they realize that it was Martin's sister. Like I said, they had no idea. So Martin yells, "It's Sid!" And Martin and bro, Will gets in the car saying, "What is your sister into, bro?" Because one of the things that made it hype, my mom says all the time, was this came out of nowhere. This chaos. You knew there was some kind of cops and robbers, not robber, like good guy and bad guy situation going to happen, but you didn't expect bad guy attacking another bad guy while the cops are watching and the other cops are also being involved, who's Martin and Will, and then on top of it, these cops are related to the undercover cop who's working for the bad guys. You see how much all that's going on at the same time? Like, so it was like, what? Like, wait, hold on a second here. And it started one of the most intense chase scenes ever with one of the most coolest cars ever, too. Let's give a shout out to that. I think that was a Ferrari? I think that was a Ferrari. Whatever that car was, it was fire with the sound and everything. Like, it was really good. And so then all the other Haitians started coming in and driving all in the middle of Miami. And and the thing is about what made these guys crazy was, and I'm talking about the Haitians, the thugs, was they did not care. They was just stepping out of their car. And by the way, they still, to this day, I was like, is this even worth it? What y'all trying to get is probably not even going to be worth much to y'all. But they did not care. They were just sticking out. And you hear Will like get ready to shoot. And Martin tried to arrest them. He pulled out his badge like, police, stop the car. Will's like, what the heck is wrong with you? Start shooting, bro. Like, they was literally in the middle of just whatever city, just start blasting Gabrielle's car. Gabrielle's trying to drive away because she has the merchandise that the Haitians are looking for. And so so you got her driving, 4 other cars, which is the thugs, trying to get to her. And then you got Will and Martin driving behind them. So you got this crazy chasing. Then Gabrielle Union's car gets stuck in traffic. And like she crashes. And then you see the other 4 cars come. And it has one of the most sickest moments ever in movie history. Will turns to the back of his car, grabs this, whatever this machine gun was, starts driving. Then it had this. Michael Bay is a genius when it comes to action. But I meant to say that in the beginning. Michael Bay to this day is the greatest action movie director I've ever seen. Not just this movie, but other ones as well. That's for another conversation, but I wanted to give him a shout out there. So then, like I said, Will drives the car straight down because he sees that Gabrielle is stuck. And I remember my mom was like, I thought she was dead right there. When she got stuck and she got 4 other cars right behind her about to get out the car, she has nothing. She can't get out. She ain't going to take all these guys on her own. And she's stuck in traffic. These guys do not care. There was tons of civilians around. They did not care. Will ended up driving right to it. Had one of the coolest scenes ever with the car. And you see like the car going to them, and the police finally showed up behind Will's car. And you just see Martin panicking. Will's like, he turns the car. Dude, the way they did it, look it up on YouTube. He turns the car and he goes and pulls, it was a slow-mo, pulls the gun out and just go boom, 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 boom. And bro, just the way it looked, the Haitians are flying back, the Haitians are shooting right at him. And, Will had his like one-liner, said, now show him your badge. But this is, and that's not even the most craziest part. So then as he pulls up, now the cops show up. It becomes a whole crazy shootout in a little part of Miami, bro. By the way, you still don't know why these guys are here. Like, are you really just here just to steal whatever Gabrielle Union got? Is that really all you're here for? You're doing all this chaos, putting all these people in harm's way, not flinching. These guys did not flinch and did all this for whatever that is in that suitcase, because Gabrielle had this suitcase that she was taking. They had money in it, you know what I'm saying? But you're doing all that for this little money here? Oh, it wasn't little, but it's still a briefcase of money. You willing to take all these lives for that? So now you got Will and Barton getting out the car, trying to get cover. The police are out, getting out, because now you got the police. They're blasted. The Haitians are blasted. Gabrielle Union is trying to get out of the situation, so she's pulling back, trying to drive forward, pull back. You hear the cops yelling, get the world down here. Like, it was so much. Even Martin is like, this is crazy, man. Like, what's going on right now? Because it really went, you know how people always say it went from 0 to 100 real fast? That's exactly what this scene was. Because it started out being cool. You got that sweet Dr. Dre music, that da-da, boom, boom, da-da. Like, it had that cool Dr. Dre beat. And, you see it, Will and Martin just chilling in the car looking like, okay, there's the Haitians, seems like we got our information right. And it turned from just chill to into a whole crazy shootout. Everybody's ducking. People who are civilians are running and ducking and all this other stuff. And I will say, Gabrielle Union had one of the best moments in her career with this one scene. So she's trying to pull out. One of the thugs shot the window. And so she's ducking, but as she's ducking, you see the guy coming. She pulls out this shotty out of nowhere and goes, and turns around, bang, right there, and took him out. I was like, and I never forget, my mom was like, you go, girl. You have no choice. It showed that she ain't no pushover either. She's trying to get out, yes, but she's trying, because at the same time, people got to remember that she is holding this persona that she's working for these certain criminals, but she's a undercover cop, so she knows how to hold herself together. And I love, like, later in the movie, Will tells her that. He says, you handled yourself very well. So she is trained to know how to do it. So she's trying to do both while not dying from these fools over here. So after this whole shootout, it goes crazy, and she finally gets out. The Haitians are starting to take her car out. Doesn't work. So they take this big red truck and use the ones that are still alive, because it was a crazy shootout and a few of them died. The thugs I'm talking about. So they take this big old truck, and Martin and Will go back into the Ferrari or whatever that car is, and they do this whole chase scene on the freeway. Bro, Michael Bay is a genius with the directing. The music, the doom. Like, they had this one sound every time Will drive this car. It had this this came out before Transformers. So Transformers actually got influenced by this, the first one. But this doom noise as this chase going on. By the way, the Gabrielle Union's own people in the police department, like I said, it was them and the original police officers. But the ones that was working with her, like in the microphone, they was trying to help her. So they're driving, and you see Will in those cars going like this while the Haitians are looking out the window trying to take Gabrielle Union out. So you got all this stuff happening on the freeway. And can you believe these fools, these thugs, they was on a red truck that was carrying cars. I don't know what you call them. They deliver cars. Whatever, you know what you've seen them, like those big old trucks that carry cars. These people, like I said, they did not care. They started shooting at anything, And then they were starting to release the cars so it could go over the freeway. And Will's like, what the heck is going on? And he's trying to focus, bro. And dude, that, oh man. And it was the whole scene of that was insane, which, sorry, talking about it got me hyped. But hey, this was and by the way, as this is happening, me and my brother are like, and my dad kept looking back like, you see what I'm saying? Do you see that this is, and so here's one of the funniest parts. So that crazy freeway situation happened. Gabrielle Union escapes. The Haitians somehow escape as well because they had this one car. They released this one car and it kind of stopped Will and Martin a little bit to where they escaped, but also Gabrielle Union escaped. So they went their separate ways, and that's the craziest part. These thugs did all that for nothing. They didn't get their package. They was trying to steal this package. They didn't get it. They lost some of their friends. Now they're on the run. And so she gets away and whatever. Here's one of the funniest parts. I never forget my dad's face when he told me. Because once it was over, I'm like, and my mom's like, you see what I'm saying? Imagine being in the theater with all the sounds and the big old stuff, and you don't expect it. That's what makes it more impactful, is when you don't expect it. It's kind of like that scene I was telling you about with the scariest moment in movie history. It's kind of like that because you didn't expect that scene either. It was just a different scenario. Like, that was more scary. This was more intense. Get your heart pumping. So the craziest thing about it was, I was like, so are we going to see them again? He was like, yes, but he's like, Durant, do you want to know something funny? I was like, what? He says, these are not even the main bad guys. I was like, what? You mean all that? This is not who we're dealing with in this movie? I'm thinking how this turned out, that these are the main dogs of the movie. He was like, no, all they are street thugs. I was like, and my dad was laughing. My brother was like, you've got to be kidding me. So who's the main bad guy? If that is who we're getting from street thugs, who are we getting as the main dude? He was like, remember, Gabrielle Union is working for another type of bad guys. Those other types are the main villains. I was like, so the main villains almost got jacked from secondary villains. He was like, yes, all that happened, and these guys are not even the main dudes. So I'm like, what else could they do in this movie? And my mom was like, and that's what I was saying. The whole movie, she was like, Durant, the whole movie, I was thinking about that one scene, because this scene topped the main villain. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the main villain and all that stuff, but I have to be real. The Haitians, the thugs here, made the main villain's threat seem like child's play. You have to watch the movie to see for yourself. The only thing they had that made them a little bit more dangerous was the fact they had Gabrielle Union as a hostage. That is it. But when it comes to intensity and anything can happen in this moment, that beginning scene, that freeway scene made it was more threatening than the villain. It really made the main one, look like child's play. All from that. And by the way, Bad Boys had a lot of action scenes, great action scenes. But when you talk about go from 0 to 100 and it stays there for a while, not no 2 minutes, it stays there for a while. Camera work, music, sound, Will yelling at Martin, the Haitians going crazy, gunfire, this and that. It was like, not knowing if Gabrielle Union's going to die, because she wasn't a main person in the franchise. This was her first time seeing her. So you don't know if she's going to live or die. And then you kind of didn't know that when she first shows up with the bad guys, you think, oh, wait, is she a villain? But then you realize, oh, no, she's not. She's undercover. So you don't know a lot, which also brings intensity. While all this is happening, then to be told when that scene is over, they're not even the main bad guys. It led to one of the greatest shootout scenes ever. It did. It led to, because you don't think Will and Martin's gonna let that fly. That Gabrielle Union was Martin's sister, and Gabrielle Union was also Will's girlfriend. So they take that personally. They're gonna do their job as a cop, but also they like, we gotta find these guys. So there was a few, like I said, there was a few left. They did all that. The thugs did all that for nothing. They lost friends, and now they're on the run. There's only a few of them left. And Will and Martin had one of the most stylish, intense, funny house shootouts ever, bro. With the cool Michael Bay camera work. Like I said, Michael Bay is one of the greatest action directors. Will like this. Mars over there screaming in another room. Bro, like one of the coolest banters. It's like the cops, Will and Bart, are talking trash to the thugs while the thugs talking trash back. One of the greatest thug lines from the thug was, sorry, hit the microphone. Who that? Who that in my house? And Will's like, I'm the devil. Who's asking? Then people, I've always remembered it because my dad does it perfectly. I can't do it like him. But he's like, the devil is not welcome here. And my dad does it. It makes me laugh every time. He does the mouth and everything. So like I say all the time, you have to watch the movie for yourself. Like I just gave a certain moment of why I believe that Bad Boys 2 has not been topped yet. So for now, it's the greatest action movie I've ever seen because it was not, but the whole movie had great action. So that's another thing too. It wasn't like after this scene then the rest was boring. No, it just wasn't better than that scene. That scene had you, and my goodness. And when I got old enough, I actually watched the real movie to see what else I missed. Didn't miss much. I think they showed the basically the same outside of the cussing on TV. But bro, yeah, that's why I say it, because it wasn't just the movie itself, as I always say with the other ones, like when I talked about The Flash or when I talked about the scariest moment ever. It's what happens outside of the movie. Not just the scene, but what it did to my mom, how my dad reacted, how my brother and I reacted, how it sticks to you. If it sticks to you the way it did us, it did its job. Like The Dark Knight had him on, and that's for another video. The Dark Knight did the same thing in a different way, though. I'll explain that later. But yeah, to this day, I believe that is the greatest action movie yet. And like I said, there's tons of great action movies. So I don't make these videos to debate, like have it, everybody can have their opinion. If you say no, I think that's cool, but I'm not here to argue. Like I ain't trying to make it to an argument, but I'm explaining why I believe it is. Now you can say another one that is because for a different reason. Everybody has their own story. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has it, but that is mine, and that's why I think, just me talking about it had me all hype. I want to watch the scene again. But yeah, especially if you're like, bro, and it has not been replicated. It has not been duplicated. They've been trying. Like even like I ain't gonna front. I like Bad Boys 3 and 4, but it has not captured that essence like Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2 was a movie in its own. Really, seriously. Like 3, they definitely nerfed the action. 4, they went up a little bit, but not the same. Michael Bay, that's why I had to give him credit. Michael Bay knows action, knows explosions. Like I know people make jokes about it where Michael Bay's all explosion stuff. Well, that's what he's good at, and he does a really good job. I love when he does action movies. Do more, please. I wish he did Bad Boys 3 and 4, but I heard, well, no, he didn't direct those two. He showed up, but he didn't direct them. But I love Michael Bay. So he actually made one of the greatest, like that first Transformers movie. The way he did that, bro. I mean, I know he did the other one, but that first one, especially we didn't expect, well, that's another story because I got something about that. Because if it wasn't for my brother, I never would have experienced that. I'll explain why in a different video. But yeah, that is my reason. A little story time of why I think Bad Boys 2 is not bested yet by other action movies. And there's been tons of great action movies. But that scene alone, I always say that one moment can literally make a whole movie. Literally. And to be real, there are some moments, like one moment that can save a movie. Thank God that wasn't this movie. Like Bad Boys 2 was good flat out, but it was just that one moment that made it astonishing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me know what's y'all favorite action movie, and if you understand what I've come from Bad Boys 2, also let me know in the comments below. But yeah, there's another story. I love talking about stuff like that. I got tons of them. But yeah, I'm gonna commit to 1 or 2 a week. So expect that. If you don't see it, let me know in the comments. Like, hey, I didn't see this and that. But usually when I commit to something, I don't miss it. But we'll see. One day at a time. But right now, this will be the one, and then we'll go from there. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you later.